So War Tycoon has actually been giving us a lot of really cool updates lately, I gotta actually admit. However, in this video, we're gonna be covering the most wanted updates where we're gonna be actually covering the top suggestions. And this is something I haven't done for such a long time. I don't even remember what part it is, but do let me know in the comment section below if you guys would like me to do another episode of this. Anyway, let's just jump right into it. So the first suggestion over here is the B-52 Stratofortress. That would actually be very cool since we do not have that many bombers in the game. I mean, we have the B-2, we have the Nighthawk, and the B-29. I feel like that's just simply not enough in some cases, and they could give us a lot more unique bombers, or even just a unique free-to-play version of the B-2. Anyway, here we have ourselves the next one, which is going to be increasing War Tycoon render distance. Even on max, there has been so many times when a hill did not load when I was in a plane, and it was too late. And again, I can't see close-up bases when I could have opened up fire. Okay, so this is actually a pretty first suggestion. People just asking to be able to see further. Unfortunately, the current issue which the game I believe does actually have is that they are using Roblox terrain, which is a lot more laggy and a lot harder to actually load in. So I believe this is going to be the main problem here, and that's probably not going to be changed for at least a little bit of time. Anyway, the next suggestion right here is add a variant of the B-29 that only has one bomb and it takes a long time to reload, but the bomb is very powerful and does basically have a very high range and area damage. And I actually really like this idea. I feel like the area damage should definitely be very high. Imagine like a bomb that could pretty much just be able to take out at least half of your base, kind of like a half nuke, and then it would take like a very long time to go ahead and reload. I feel like the nuclear power will be a little too much, but just giving us something like this would definitely be very cool. Once again, a very good suggestion. So next up, people asking for more weapons. I'm not going to be fully reading this out, but overall we do want to have ourselves a lot more weapons, which is something that people have really been requesting for. Once again, I think it could be JOTV variant. I would be a really big fan of this, even though the tactical JOTV, it was pretty much useless in War Tycoon, but just giving us a variant will be pretty cool considering the community does feel a lot of nostalgia towards it. Anyway, it would be cool if they added the STRV 103B. So once again, another tank that they will be adding into the game. Once again, I will be into this, and the reason why I say that this will be a tank is just because it does have the tank build, and War Tycoon would overall be marking it as one in the game, kind of like they do with the Bradley and the Terminator and etc. Anyway, once again, a good suggestion. Here we have ourselves removing this, which is the 10% tax. It almost feels like the Trump's tariffs have actually gotten into War Tycoon. This is one of the funniest comments I've seen for a while, but I do believe that the tax will unfortunately probably stay, but this is an interesting suggestion. And now next up over here is making a zone where helicopters can land on the zone vault without sliding, and basically they're once again talking about something like an attach button. I'm not gonna lie to you, that would be really cool, but with the current physics that War Tycoon has, I don't expect it to be coming anytime soon. Either way, it's a cool suggestion. Once again, people asking for a tax-free version. I'm kind of 50-50 on this, so I won't be talking about it. Alright, so next up is please buff the ADAT speed, 45 miles per hour to 55 miles per hour. I know some of you guys might say it will be inaccurate, and it is kind of inaccurate, but the BMPT goes 37 miles per hour on a row, and it goes 55 mph in War Tycoon, so I don't think it's a bad idea to make the ADATs faster. After all, it's very slow for how weak its armor is. I mean, that is actually kind of a fair point. Again, the Terminator is incredibly fast, but we're also talking about the fact that this is a spin vehicle, so obviously it's gonna have some kind of better balancing towards it, but I think if the ADATs at least go 50 miles per hour, that will definitely fit. Anyway, once again, people talking about a variant for the UH-60. I will be all for this. People are asking for this, so I'm obviously going to agree. Replace the suitcase drone with the FPV kamikaze drone. Increases damage, able to one-shot Humvee, increases speed, lower its health. So basically just a better suitcase drone. I mean, we don't have many drones in the game, and the suitcase drone doesn't really get that much use these days, so having kind of like a revive to the drones as a whole will be very cool. Then once again is a rescue mission. You have to save hostages for medals, and you can work together with others. You have to rescue the hostages and bring them back to Black Hawk helicopter for medals, kill the enemies before the timer runs out. So we're kind of talking about here us being able to have AI enemies which would actually be able to defend the hostages, and then we would have to pretty much kill them. I don't know if introducing AI enemies kind of like a military tycoon would fit the game. Like, there's a lot of people complaining that War Tycoon is about to become military tycoon. Meanwhile, they're giving us a military tycoon. I idea. You know what I mean? The overall idea is really cool, but the NPC enemy is something that we probably won't want to have in the game. Anyway, bringing back the generator again, I think just being able to shut down all the lights in the base, which we used to be able to do, would be really cool. It adds in a lot more realism to the base, and it overall just makes things feel a lot more spicy. Anyway, can we just add an artillery in general, please? Yes, please give us an artillery, or actually fix the current artilleries which we also have in the game. I would love that to happen, because right now things are not looking good for the artillery vehicles. Anyway, once again, people asking for the Boxer MRAV to become a variant of the Boxer CRV, something I would love to have. Alright, so next up is being able to put words on top of the barrels for tanks, so just being able to personalize vehicles a lot more, so our friends are not gonna end up attacking us. This is a really cool suggestion. We have actually wanted to see at least some kind of faction markings on vehicles as well, but we haven't really got this for the time being, which is actually kind of annoying. Anyway, so once again, bring back all removed base vehicles, the M35, Riverboat, etc., not the April Fool ones. More variety of vehicles in the game is strictly a benefit, and some of them were unique and interesting, like the M35, especially before it became a generic gun truck. Yeah, we really do also miss so many of these vehicles that were removed from the Vietnam era. Like, we barely have anything from there, and it would also allow for some role-playing if we do have these unique vehicles in the game. Like, they just look really cool. Anyway, buff MB5 because it is so weak. The MV5 is kind of mid, I gotta agree with that, so I feel like just getting a buff would once again be cool. Anyway, next one over here is a Russian artillery vehicle. This is one of the main suggestions which people have been wanting, just overall just artilleries in the game. We barely have anything of that, so please War Tycoon, go ahead and actually start working on this. I very much like this suggestion. Okay, so next up is why this legend gun isn't in-game. This guy's spelling is kind of weird, but the Adi Musin Nagant M1891. Once again, more weapons, something that people have been wanting. Anyway, base hearts. This could be a very cool update, would change up combat a ton, and would allow us to use the sniper towers, or just actually stop people from constantly spawn killing. Like, giving some of these turrets AI in some way would also be pretty cool, because right now, man, the spawn killing issue is actually huge. Anyway, once again, it's buffing the B2 bomber. Okay, so the B2 is only really good at 2 tasks, and that's going to be killing ground vehicles and pretty much spawn killing people in bases, but having more bomb types will be really cool. But just in order to actually make that happen, is we need actual vehicle upgrades instead of just changing the stats by giving us different bomb types. Anyway, once again, it's adding a different variant of the serum, or just an overall upgrade for it, something I've seen a lot. I very much like it. And then once again, thank you for adding back the M35 truck, and since we have variants feature in the game, I suggest you adding the M35 cargo truck back with 4 oil barrel crate holders capacity besides its armed variant. Okay, so once again, I feel like the M45 truck, just having a variant of it, would once again be very cool. People have wanted a lot of vehicles to be returned in the game, even like the Land Rover or the old Vietnam truck which we also had in the game. I would love that to happen. Anyway, the next thing right here is the satellite view for HIMARS as a rework. I really hope the developers are already working on this. Just being able to know where you're actually going to be striking would actually give these vehicles a lot more realism. Anyway, the next one over here is new tank idea. Okay, alright, so this is just a little funny suggestion. I don't know why people add this in, but I guess it's kind of far. Anyway, make the game more realistic. We're getting to the point where certain things feel like a joke, and we're talking about the APS UI on how it actually looks like. I mean, come on, this is one of the things where I don't think it's actually that good to have full realism, because the UI is supposed to look cool and catchy for pretty much every single new player in the game, instead of just looking insanely realistic. If you want full realistic experience, just go ahead and play War Thunder. That's kind of my take on it, because this is supposed to be an arcade-like PvP game. Anyway, next one over here is other feature where you can sabotage missile strike system since it uses electricity. Once again, really cool being able to actually sabotage. This is one of the features which would probably take a lot more programming, but I'm definitely all for it. Anyway, once again, for the love of God, add an anti-cheat. Okay, so this is something I really hope they're also going to be working on, if they're not working on it already. I really do hate the hacker situation which we have on Roblox. In general, it's not just hitting War Tycoon. I think Roblox needs to actually take its measures to go ahead and fight hackers itself as well, along with War Tycoon. But yeah, that's my personal take on it. Can we finally get a rework for the HIMARS? Once again, a cool suggestion. And same for this one, bringing back this vehicle which everyone wants to see. Now, next up is adding functional radars. This is a perfect example on how it would look like. This is very much an arcade look of a radar that we would have, but genuinely anything will be fine, because right now the planes need a radar, the tanks need a radar, like a lot of vehicles that just have modern technology do need that. Anyway, add thermals for modern tanks with thermal scopes for guns, but before they do, I really hope they can fix the stabilization issue for the turrets of the tanks itself as well. Anyway, the last suggestion of the video is add a feature to the serum so it doesn't automatically attack our friends, planes or helicopters for no reason, and I'm pretty sure that this feature is already on, like it doesn't attack our friends, and not to add, you could just turn off the serum. So I don't know what this suggestion is for. It must feel like it's incredibly old and it just got into top suggestions. I don't know why this is here, but then once again, it's a free Mi-28 Havoc, and add a different vehicle in exchange for that, which would have a Gatling gun and no explosive ammo. It would have 8 fire and forget missiles, and it would also have 4 lock-on missiles, and a stat for it will be powerful. I mean, the Mi-28 has already replaced the Mi-24 Heinz, so genuinely I feel like the Mi-28 is in a pretty decent spot right now, and then reworking the helicopter game passes once again would be kind of weird, but I guess the Mi-28 did kind of fall off just a little bit in the modern meta, so I guess this suggestion is kind of fair, but I'm just a little 50-50 on it. Anyway, that's everything I have for you guys in today's video. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this brand new suggestions which I mentioned here, and I really do actually like them. They're been getting a lot better, and just in general a lot less biased than what they used to be. Anyway, I'll see you guys next video. Have a greatest day, and thank you so much to my channel members.